Hi, CPA class. It's Miss Johnson reporting from her living room. As I'm sure you already know, one of my sons has a fever, and the other one has a fever. So, alas, I am home today, and it sounds like my cold is getting worse. But hopefully, the Yams of Plague will be gone soon. Okay, so we're going to pick up at Act 4, Scene 2. Enter Macduff's wife, her son, and Ross. So basically, we're talking about this today. Lady Macduff, just a quick refresher, Lady Macduff is upset that her husband has left, and Ross is trying to assure her that he has left in good faith, as you know, he wants her to trust him in the fact that he's left for a good reason. So we left off with the question I posed about why does Lady Macduff say, "Sirrah, your father is dead," to her son, and what will you do now? How will you live? And the son says, "As birds do, mother." This is around line 35, page 135. The son says, "With what I get, I mean, and so do they." Lady Macduff, "Poor bird, thou'dst never fear the net nor lime, the pitfall nor the gin." And the son begins to argue that his father is not dead. So the question again, why does she tell him that he has died? I think it's because he has been accused of treason, obviously, by Macbeth. Remember, he will not attend the coronation of Macbeth because he believes Macbeth is a tyrant, as does everyone. But you would attend the coronation of the king because you didn't want to have your head, chopped off, or to be put in prison for my brain's not working, for being treacherous. So I think that she tells him, basically he's better off dead. She wants the son to think that he is dead instead of that he's a traitor. And she also says at the bottom of the page, around line 55, the son says, "Was my father a traitor, mother?" And Lady Macduff says, "Aye, that he was." And the son says, "What is a traitor?" Lady Macduff says, "Why, one that swears and lies." "And be all traitors that do so?" And Lady Macduff says, "Every one that does so is a traitor and must be hanged." "And why must they be hanged that swear and lie?" And Lady Macduff says, "Every one." Okay? And then also he says, "Who must hang them?" And she says, "Why, honest men." So, quite sad. So then enters a messenger, and the messenger urges her to flee, to get out, that someone is coming, and that it is not going to be good. Okay? And she says, "Why? Why should I go?" Lady Macduff says this, "Because I haven't done anything wrong. I have nothing to hide and nothing to fear." And so enter the murderers at the bottom of the page, and she says, "What are these faces?" And the murderer says, "Where's your husband?" And she says, "I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayest find him." The murderer says, "He's a traitor." This is obviously about Macduff. The son says, Thou liest, thou shag-eared villain." So he basically calls him a name. And then the murderer obviously stabs him. And he says in this very sad, pathetic line, "He has killed me, mother. Run away, I pray you." And so Lady Macduff runs, screaming murder. The murderers follow her. And of course, she meets her demise. And the next scene, excuse me, this is an important scene between Malcolm and Macduff. So basically, Malcolm is not quite sure why Malcolm wants to find out more information about where Macduff's loyalties lie, okay? Because everybody believes that he's a traitor, and you want to flush that out and figure out, is he really a traitor, or what's going on. So he basically starts to question Macduff, and he kind of tricks him a little bit and is testing him, okay? So they're talking about Scotland, and how Scotland has been overthrown by a tyrant, obviously Macbeth. Okay, and on page 141, line around 21, Macduff says, "I am not treacherous." Okay, and Malcolm says, "But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge. But I shall crave your pardon, that which you are my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so." Okay. So basically, on this through this page, he is trying to figure out why he left his entire family there. Now, mind you, he doesn't know yet that his entire family has been killed, but he's trying to figure this out. Bleed, bleed, poor country, says Macduff. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basis sure. For goodness dare not check thee, where thou thy wrongs. The title is afeard. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be a villain, but thou thinkest for the whole space that's in a tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot. All right, so then we get into the little trickery here. So Malcolm tries to, again, see where the loyalties lie. The first thing he says about himself is that he is lustful. And I think we know what lustful means, okay? He says, "I can't be king. I'm too lustful." And King of Scotland, that is. And Macduff says, "Oh, that's okay. You can be lustful, but, there's plenty of women to go around, and we don't have to tell anybody about it. You just make sure you keep it out of, your business as king, and you'll be fine." And then Malcolm says, I am, he says, let me find the line here, around line 70, he starts to, that's where, right there at line 70, he starts to say that he is lustful. I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden malice, smacking up every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill me up. The cistern of my lust and my desire, all contentment and impediments would overbear that to oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such as one to reign. Okay? And then Macduff says, "Yes, okay, but don't worry, we can cover you." Then Malcolm starts to talk about the fact that he himself is greedy. Okay? All right, I'm going to just switch this to the next video.